Hey, thanks for checking out this Sunday Rivals roadmap devlog-ish thing. It's been a while since I've made one of these, almost a year at this point, I think. Lots to talk about, let's get going. When I talk about roadmap, imagine air quotes around that word, because what I don't have for you today is a precise list of all the things that are for sure coming to the game. For me to work solo, any sort of strict, unbreakable schedule is absolute death. What works instead is to build and release a major feature, then rotate off to plug a few smaller holes, then start in on that next big one. So the Sunday Rivals roadmap really revolves around three big features I'm working towards. To start, by summer I hope to have a working version of season mode playable in-game. Then later in the summer, I plan to release expanded, customizable playbooks. Finally, before launch, I plan to have a full time of day / weather system working in-game. Those three features I feel absolutely need to be in the game to exit early access with a release date before the end of 2021. Season mode is hands down the most important feature, as it is absolutely critical to the success and longevity of the game. I'm aiming at rolling out the mode in stages, rather than a complete, finished product the way customization dropped. It will be pretty raw, but getting hands-on earlier will help it grow in the right direction. Season mode details are not concrete yet, so let's talk high concept for a bit. I want to make a mode that feels like you're experiencing an end-to-end story of a season of football. There would be some macro-level decision-making and goal-setting early on, and you'd work to try and execute on those arcs over the course of the year. At a micro level, each game feels like an event, and there's a bit of drama and storyline around them as the season unfolds. Maybe lean into the idea of actual rivalries forming and carrying that energy throughout the week and onto the field. Individual games might have performance goals, and all of that is tracked throughout the year. And of course, all of this would be fully customizable to fit your needs. That's the 10,000-foot view. I'll work on solidifying those ideas into something tangible over the next couple of weeks, and then start working them into the game. The other two features I'll talk about more once season mode is rolling, since they weave together in important ways. Recently, I asked folks on the Discord server to drop questions for me about the game and where it's going to put in this video, and they delivered as usual. So let's get to them. Question 1 comes from Boy with a Bible, who asks, what percentage of the way done would you say you are? If I had to put a number to it, I'd say 50% done, with something like 35% of the remaining portion comprising the three features I mentioned before. Question 2 comes from Assassin, who asks, what community-suggested features, if any, are you most and least interested in considering? Something that's come up in the community a lot, and honestly I was really skeptical about, is the idea of adding a coaching or AI vs. AI mode into the game. I still have reservations, mainly because as an arcade game, I'm not sure we'll ever meet people's expectations. But I've warmed a lot on the idea over the last year as something that could really make its way into the game someday. On the flip side, not much has landed in my mental no pile, but we talk a lot about how some things that are commonplace in other games might not necessarily fit in this one. A good example would be team logos, which definitely add immersion, but Rivals is built so that everything is customizable in-game. So then we start talking about building a logo editor, or supporting user-imported image files, or providing a bunch of generic logos that can be tweaked maybe, and it quickly starts to balloon beyond what I want to support, given the value it really adds to the game. Question 3 comes from JackrabbitJB, who asks, I'd be curious to know what the other team options, coaches, weather, etc., will be implemented and what impact they'll have. General idea is that the coaching aspect rolls out with season mode and will hopefully provide for more unique team identities and playstyles, instead of teams just being an average of their ratings. You'll be able to make teams who love blitzing or eat up the clock on offense, etc. Customizable playbooks will play a part in this as well, so you can optimize play selection to match your rosters. On the weather side, you'll be able to set up variations to get a mix that feels accurate for a city's climate. A windy game might look totally different in San Francisco versus, say, Chicago. A place like Seattle sees plenty of rain, but snow games are rare. I haven't fully landed on how much of that will actually affect gameplay versus just being aesthetic. Hopefully, I can figure out some graphical solutions to support wet uniforms, field deterioration, fog, wind, snow, all that fun stuff we all want to see. Question 4 comes from Tater Hater, who asks, what are some things you are most looking forward to seeing in the Sunday Rivals community? I've been super inspired by the leagues folks in Discord have been building and sharing, and can't wait to see those mature as the game expands over time. On top of that, Folks are already streaming their own seasons for their custom leagues, which has been really fun to watch. I'm really looking forward to seeing how far y'all take this. Maybe building out new communities around your custom leagues, or forming groups to distribute the load of keeping up-to-date rosters for college and pro leagues. I'm also excited about the stuff I can't imagine, and would love to hear your thoughts on ways I can support your ideas. Question 5 comes from Mongo Slade and Jackrabbit JB, who ask, what is the likelihood of this game being released on consoles, and what's the biggest barrier to that release? So I'm combining two similar questions here, but I'm glad you both asked. This is probably the question I answer the most, so let's do it again. My standard answer is, I'll be evaluating all platforms once the game is out of early access. I want as many people on as many platforms as possible to play Sunday Rivals, so yes, it is likely. How that happens is still really unknown. I've never released one of my own games anywhere but PC, and I can't say for certain which platforms will make the most sense for me to target. The other factors are time, energy, and money. Console development might take an additional 6 to 12 months to get through cert, so I'd be looking at heading into a third year of development for that. Likewise, there's a point where making a game no longer makes sense financially. I know that there's probably an equal, if not bigger, audience on consoles for this game, but is that size 2x, 20x? I'm not sure. Ultimately, I think these answers will become apparent once early access concludes. Question 6 comes from Paradox Fox, who asks, will you ever make a DLC for Sunday Rivals once it is fully done, such as Customization Plus DLC that adds further customization to stadiums and teams/leagues? Piggybacking a bit off the previous question, I hope there's enough of an audience post V1.0 that it makes sense to continue building onto this game. If so, it would come down to features that improve its longevity. Like you mentioned, new stadiums fit that bill for sure, as would some aspects of deeper team customization. Last question comes from Darewolf, who asks, do you plan on doing updated rosters or ratings, without real names of course, or leaving that for the mod community? That's a good question. I'm still on the fence on this one. I want teams to feel recognizable, but that can be hard to achieve depending on the context of the person playing the game. Some people are longtime fans and get all the stupid nicknames I put in the game and generally get why the team overalls are what they are. Other players are going to be confused why their championship-winning team absolutely sucks in my game. It's possible that I do a sweep on some of the teams and flip-flop them around to keep league parity intact. But yes, I'm hopeful that the community will step into the gap here and lead the charge on building rosters that feel more up to date with expectations. That's all I have for this one. Let me know if this format is something you're interested in me continuing. And as always, if you have questions of your own, let me know in the comments or on Discord. If I make another one of these, maybe yours will appear in it. Thanks for playing, y'all.